Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Solana, see what's going on. Pretty significant sell-off, but also fairly expected with all this liquidation here, getting swept as low as 150. Actually, technically went all the way down to 146. Keep in mind, 144 is a macro support for Solana, so shouldn't see too much more downside, but you got to recognize it's falling pretty close to Bitcoin to the downside here as of the last 48 hours. So Solana is definitely pulling back with it. While it's still a strong coin, it recovered nicely. We got to respect the fact that further downside is more likely at this point based on the overall trend that we're seeing right now. Again, it's a short-term bearish trend. I don't think by any stretch this is a long-term scenario for Bitcoin and or altcoins, but we saw Bitcoin dominance just shoot straight up this morning. Alts just took a massive dump, and it's unfortunate, but it happens, right? So again, all the more reason to make sure you either diversify with your trades, or more importantly, just make sure that you're not over leveraging and or using too high of a position size. So let's go ahead and take a look at the back end liquidation data, kind of see what's going on here with Solana. We'll refresh the charts and kind of go from there. So when we do look at Solana, the important thing to recognize with liquidation is that majority of it's all gone. Okay, there's some late longs, of course, at 146 to 144. Those are some high leverage longs, but for the most part, any long taken in the recent 24 to 48 hours is completely destroyed. So again, those are high leverage longs more likely than not, because low leverage longs shouldn't be liquidated at this point. They should have plenty of room. Again, I recommend no more than 5x leverage for altcoins. 3x is actually a really good starting point if you're newer, like 2 to 3x. That really helps kind of get your feet wet without getting completely destroyed by the market, because these candle wicks are super aggressive. Either way, macro here, we can see as low as we talked about yesterday, 140 to 142, there's that lower level. More so like 138 to 142 is that concentration there. We have a really, really big amount at 125. I don't think we got to worry about that just yet. We haven't broken bearish by any stretch with Bitcoin. Please try not to think the sky is falling. We're actually in decent shape with Bitcoin, holding that 62,000 level fairly strong. It's also showing and proving that 62.5 is a solid support level. This is the current range that we're stuck within. At least the previous range we broke free from, now the current range that we're within. So it very well could work out to be a head and shoulders here soon. We got to wait for that to play out, but generally speaking, we're probably still going to be range bound between 62.5 and 64.5. That's relevant for Solana because we need to understand that with Bitcoin potentially bottoming out, we might see a slight relief rally here for Solana, but I wouldn't expect a tremendous amount or tremendous result, whatever you want to look at there. So here I have an alert set for 141 that's set lower liquidation level. That's pretty much an area that I'm considering along with. So I'm going to leave that there if we ever get there. Let's talk about the daily and work our way down. Again, folks, I have alerts that I set on a lot of different coins that I analyze, and you just got to recognize because I set an alert there doesn't mean I just jump in there blindly. Please recognize that. It's important to be careful when you're taking trades. Reevaluate before you jump in if you ever do. Okay, so we've got this kind of Elliott wave here. It's a little janky, but it is still relevant, kind of letting us know that we're in our ABC pattern here on the way down, still discovering our C. Likely just did discover it at that 146 level, but it's tentative for the moment, okay? Elliott wave was always tentative, always updating, and it's one of those things that you should never bank your trades solely on just that one thing. What we want to look at here is more so, I would say, the macro scenario here. We're still over 50 on the RSI, still maintaining that bullish momentum, for lack of better terms, and we are in decent shape here. Money flow index is tapering off, but as long as we don't see MFI drop super hard below the RSI, we should be in pretty good shape. That's usually when you see somewhat of a shift in momentum. We can see that here as well with stochastic pulling back. That's pretty standard. We've seen that for a little while. Most coins are starting to see that slight divergence there based on the simple fact that they've been uptrending for about 2.5 weeks. And at this point, it makes sense for the price to pull back to take that natural profit, okay? So by no means is this like the sky's gonna fall, we're in a terrible situation here. This is just kind of standard trading, okay? People need to recognize that. I see people like what we were like a couple days ago, people were claiming we're gonna go to 70 to 80K range, right? And then now today they're like, hey, is 50,000 on the table? Come on, folks, like this is just normal trading. It's going to be ranging itself. Bitcoin is ranging right now. It's not like that big of a deal. Again, it could totally fall tomorrow, but keep in mind what happened today was a lot of fundamental stuff with like Iran, the oil stuff, the oil crisis, so to speak. And it's a lot of adverse scenarios that are kind of causing the price action to shift a lot harder than it should have. So you got to recognize those things are always going to occur, and you never truly know when they're going to happen. But we can thank other countries for screwing the price of Bitcoin over, right? Anyways, and there's so many different things that we can't even just pinpoint that. But regardless, that does factor in. Okay, and we know this from yesterday. Again, we kind of swept up a little bit, but came back down. Being under 50 on the RSI on the 4-hour kind of just lets us know this is a bearish type of divergence. Should be more of a short-term trend, but it is a trend nonetheless, okay? We got our local point of control at 156, so that's right where the price action rejected here recently. And we can see our MACD is kind of diverging. So the overall sentiment here is still bearish. We're getting closer to 30 on the RSI and the MFI. Commonly a pivot point there, but I wouldn't expect a lot here at this point. It'd be very odd for altcoins to surge here soon based on Bitcoin just bottoming out, right? If that's even happened, we don't even know if Bitcoin's bottomed out yet. It just kind of has that feeling so far with how much support we saw in the current range for Bitcoin. We could say the same thing here as well for Solana, right? This purple box here is basically that previous area liquidation that is fully swept now. And then some, of course, and we do take a look at the larger timeframes here. Again, keep in mind 140 is that next potential target. And coincidentally, 140 is right down here. That's where I set my alert yesterday. That's the local low. So we do retest that low. There would be a solid chance we get a pivot off of that level. So again, my money is on waiting for 140, 141 as a good consideration for entry. I'm not claiming we're going to see that right now, but if Bitcoin continues to pull back to sweep that 61K range of liquidation, which keep in mind is still a possibility here. We can see here for Bitcoin, 61,000, there's a lot of liquidation left down there. If it does pull back to that 30 billion liquidation, there's a great chance we're going to be able to see that that pullback to 140 for Solana. Okay, so just keep in mind that's definitely a possibility here. So don't rule it out. Anyways, regards to that fact, I don't think it's a guarantee necessarily, just a possibility again as per usual. So again, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever to consider a spot purchase there as like a dollar cost average target. Either way, there's no guarantees as per usual. So let's go ahead and take a quick look here at the Ichimoku Cloud and call it a day. Everything here is screaming bearish divergence. Every single altcoin that I looked at today, minus FTM, Bonk, and maybe SUI, have the same scenario here. Basically letting us know that further downside is probable. So I would expect worst case scenario, the price continue lower until it doesn't, okay? We also can kind of see here, this is somewhat descending broadening wedge pattern. A lot of coins are also printing this here where the price action is working itself down. They inevitably break to the upside, but again, at this point, we're a long ways away from a breakout. So don't even read into what I just kind of mentioned there. Again, a lot of patterns, a lot of different things can fold out or unfold. What I'll do is I'll post a playout chart here in our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord as per usual, and I'll update the charts so you can kind of see what my thoughts are here as a result of this analysis. We'll kind of go from there, but we should expect further downside before it recovers. And what that basically means is you don't arbitrarily take a long. You do not take a long when Bitcoin dominance is spiking like this and altcoins are just taking a hit to the face, right? There are some altcoins that might be worthwhile, perhaps at the end of today's trading day if Bitcoin can hold its line, but if it can't hold that 62.5 level, I think we are due to see further correction from altcoins. All right, folks, that's all we got here. Thanks again so much for watching. Comment below. You get a chance. Don't forget to like the video every time you watch, and we'll look forward to seeing the next one. You want to join our esteemed colleagues of trading, or in our trading community, rather, however you want to word it. CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. Come check us out. It's actually have a lot of fun. It's kind of a cool thing. Anyways, I look forward to working with you. Have a good day. Take care.